G'day, all you people out there in video land. It's Pete Chatteris. I'm the reactivator. I'm a 65-year-old Kiwi living near the airport in Auckland. And I love reacting to some of the things that are a little bit different from what we would do in New Zealand. Today, I got to tell you, this is a doozy. It's to do with tipping in America. I'm confused by the whole thing. You know, when you tip, I mean, I've never been there, but when you tip, if you tip, do you have to tip, this sort of thing. So I came across this video, and this guy, a very upright looking young professor type man, and he's going to explain all about tipping. So here you go.
Hi, my name is Mike Mitchell, and today I'm going to explain
Hi, Mike Mitchell.
to you how to calculate a restaurant tip. If you're at a restaurant and...
So there's a calculation required for tipping? Really?
Normally in most countries, at the end of the meal, you get your bill. You also have to calculate a tip.
No, you don't. In most countries, no. I mean, I've travelled far and wide, and I've never been to America, as I say, but no. Really? No, I think this guy needs to be reminded that there is a world outside America, but anyhow, doesn't he look very upright? I mean, look at him.
For the waiter or the person who is serving your food. Now, tipping oftentimes is different depending on which country you're in and various cultures, but as a standard for most Western restaurants, they expect normally sometime around a 10 to 15%.
Hang on, let me just get this right. He is saying that in most Western cultures that the normal tip is 10 to 15%. No, it's not. It's not 10 to 15%. It's not. I mean, really? I mean, I think we're a pretty Western culture down here in New Zealand and Australia, and I mean, really? No, we don't.
Tip. So how do you calculate this tip? Well, for example, let's say you go to a restaurant and you get your bill, and your bill is...
I mean, this is serious, isn't it? I mean, this guy's not taking the mickey, is he?
25, and just for example purposes, $25. How do you calculate this? A simple percentage of 10%, you can always start with that as your base. And some countries...
Oh. So on a $25 meal, you take 10%, $2.50, right? Okay.
In some countries, 10% of a tip is perfectly fine. In the United States...
Really?
Now, that's a little low, and normally they would recommend between 15 and 20% depending on the service.
Who would recommend? Who would recommend that? I mean, a tip is given if you like some service that you've had. You know, if a waiter or waitress or whatever, you know, goes the extra mile, yeah, you might leave them something, but really?
But if you start with 10%, that's the easiest. So 10% of 25 is $2.50. And if you decide that you want to do 20%, obviously it's just double, and so that...
He's a mathematician.
Would be $5. And if you want something in between, somewhere between 10 and 20%, if you want 15, it could be $3, $4, and you can just estimate how...
Okay, so you go into a restaurant. This is in America, right? And you have a meal. Say you pay $100 for a meal. I don't know. So you pay an extra 10% minimum, so that's 110. Or you could pay 20%, which is $20. So you, in a sense, you're paying, say you got 15%, $15. So and you've got to do this everywhere. I mean, where don't you do it?
You're going to do it based on the service that you received.
Well, if the service is bad, do you not tip them? I wouldn't. The other thing too is I heard just recently there was this lady who was chastised at a laundromat over in America, and it's like she didn't tip the person in the laundromat. Does anybody know about that? I mean, let me know. I mean, do you have to? Do you have to tip? I don't know, a takeaway shop, or I don't know, a dairy owner. You'd call that a drugstore. Dairies for us are corner stores.
Obviously, tipping is also a way to round up the bill. So if your bill is $25,
I prefer to round down sometimes.
Or if it's $26.90 and you figure that it was somewhere around 15%, you can just increase it all the way.
Okay. What about this scenario? You say you're at a pub or a restaurant, or so you're at a pub, right? You're there with your mates, and you're having a right old time. Everybody's shouting, right? Now, shouting is that you buy the drinks for a round. It's not like, shout. It's in our talk. It's you shout somebody, which is buy them a drink. So you have rounds. So this round I'll buy everybody a drink. Next round I'll buy everybody a drink, etc. So you're all pisses a fart, right? You're totally gone, and you stagger out of the restaurant or the pub or whatever, and you've got to calculate all this. It would do my head in. I mean, really? It would do my head in. Look at him.
To $30 and give the waiter the exact amount of change and tell them that they can keep the rest of the money, and that's their tip.
Well, that's fair enough.
Well,
here's another one. Okay, so it's a short one, but I just can't understand why it is that in America everybody has to tip. I heard also, like, your minimum wage, or the minimum wage in America is so small that in fact, one guy told me that there is no minimum wage in some jobs. Like, I think you call them servers over there, like waiters, waitresses. Here, the minimum wage is what, $23.90, I think, $23, and nobody really expects a tip. Anyway, this is America. Well, that is America for you. Anyhow, look, I'm not pulling America down. I'm just wondering why it is that you have to tip. I mean, seriously. Anyhow, this is a reactivator, a 65-year-old Kiwi guy living in Auckland near the airport, saying, "See you later, haere-ra." And guess what? Look after yourself. Oh, now, can we just have a little word, please? Just a little word. You see these little buttons coming up here? There's a button right in the centre, right? About there. It says subscribe. Subscribe to our channel, to my channel. Like the video and get all your mates and have a look at it, because Kiwi, looking at things that maybe we're not used to, and hey, generally having a good time. Anyway, this is Pete, the reactivator from Auckland, New Zealand, saying